I mean, it's the most prolific. I wouldn't say it might not be actually the most prolific, but the most known and publicised case of poltergeist phenomenon. There are some fantastic ones overseas which have taken place. People don't know them, but very well.
But the thing is, the film, The Entity. I mean, that's based very loosely on an alleged true story of a lady who was being molested by a spirit. Now, would you put that type of thing down to poltergeist activity?
We've currently, the UPIA are currently involved in a case. Now, I can't go into details about it for obvious reasons, but the case itself, we've had to follow up the church, a clean-up case against the church, unfortunately, and the medium. Again, I can't go into too much details because obviously we can't. But the person involved, we actually think now that the case, we've actually referred it again to the police because we think it's a physical events that are taking place rather than paranormal events that are taking place. So that's a prime example of entity like incubus, succubus case, etc., etc. They're all tied in loosely to the same banner of the poltergeist activity. But in this, the one opportunity that we would get to do something of consequence ends up being, we believe, a physical manifestation in regards to other people rather than a paranormal.
I discussed the case, the entity case, in regards to Carlotta Moran, which again is a second pseudonym. Her experiences in regards to the entity film. Kerry Gaynor, one of the principal investigators there, and I've seen the photographs and I've seen some of the video footage, and it was quite profound from what I saw. And I was also informed of that was in fact carried out an investigation at Washington Parapsychological Department, where they looked at the footage, they reviewed the case details, everything was done as far as they were concerned properly and scientifically. Nobody has yet to say that the footage is not authentic. It hasn't been proven so. It looks to be like there are balls of light moving around which visually are seen and videoed. It's not like your typical orb phenomena where I've caught an orb on film where it's probably a dust particle or something. It's these things were seen with the naked eye and photographed and filmed at the same time.
And this as well, to add to the authenticity, is information that's not released to the public domain. It's not Joe Blog's Paranormal Inc. jumping on and saying we've got the best bit of paranormal footage ever on the internet. Everyone sees it on YouTube. This is stuff that only certain people have had access to that information, which I believe authenticates it a little bit more because of the non-exposure.
Well, I've seen some of the footage of the entity case, and I have to say, if it's not true, it's been acted extremely well. I think because you can almost see the fear. I mean, I know that the footage is it's not brilliant quality, but there is a fear there, and you kind of. You can almost, even now, when I was watching it some time ago when I saw it, and I haven't seen all of it, but you even sitting watching it, you could sense.
It's just a bedroom scene.
Fear, you could sense that there was a fear. You could sense it watching and telling you, and I don't know whether that's me making that happen because I know what's going to go on.
But saying that again, another case. Well, I say a case. We've been involved in a TV documentary lately. One of the persons involved in the documentary is an actress, and her portrayal of fear was very, very good.
Actresses, that's what they're paid to do.
It can happen.
I'm going to have to admit, I've worked for lots of mediums whose acting abilities are fantastic. I've worked with someone who's absolutely awful, and someone who's actually brilliant, but then that's when that's your trade, you're going to be good on it.
But I have been lucky, like I said, twice throughout the years of investigating to come across two cases, one in Heaton, Mersey, one in Rochdale. And both were quite as profound as each other. The one was 1995 in Rochdale. We were first alerted to it by an article in the Manchester News. Scary spills. I remember the headline now because it sounded just so ridiculous. Scary spills scare family from home.
Scary spills scare
family from home.
Great bit of journalism.
And it was regarding a typical family which were living in a prefabricated bungalow. Now, those were only designed initially to be temporary homes, but they've lived there for 14 years and quite happy, didn't want to move. And in a nice little close in Stockport, in Rochdale. And they were having water formings. The water was just suddenly pumping out of the ceiling, and suddenly it'd appear on the door. And it just sounded absolutely ridiculous. Things getting ruined, carpets, furniture. and the council got involved and they investigated, and they couldn't. They apparently went in and did investigation and couldn't find a rational explanation as to why these things are happening. So they accused, the Rochdale City Council accused the family of ruining their own furniture and carpets by throwing water on them and blaming it on something paranormal in hope of being rehoused to a better building, for instance. It was quite clear to me when I got there that the family didn't want to move. They'd lived there for 14 years, were happy. The garden was lovely. Spent a lot of money in the garden. And to me, it doesn't come across, you can tell usually when family...
You can tell that fairly quickly.
Straight away. And genuine fear, which was interesting, and of course, I took on the case. It's the only time, actually, in 24 years, I've decided on one particular night to pack it in.
What made that happen?
I got hit in the back so hard it carried me to the other side of the room.
By an object or by something?
No, I got punched. But it was an odd sensation. I can only describe it because I've been asked this thousands and it went international, this case, so everybody all over the world was asking me this question: what did it feel like? What did it feel like? And it is an electrical shock and a physical punch at exactly the same time. That's how it feels. I thought I was an electric shock, being elevated like an electric shock, but physically punched. I had the bruise. The investigators are more interested in photographing the back as opposed to photographing what hit me. But I left the building for about half an hour. That's the only time in my life I've ever actually thought of I should be doing this.
It's strange though, isn't it? Because you said that I've been involved in investigations where Stuart Torrevell was had a similar thing happen to him. He was punched and all that, and he called me the next day and had quit. As anyone who went to see him actually saw the bruises on his body that were immense. I mean, it's like he actually had gone a couple of rounds with Mike Tyson, and had lost.
He's still got the ears.
Sorry,
still got the ears.
But it's that weird kind of. That point when you're looking at these things, you think, crumbs, this can be dangerous. But we're going to just go away for a break. Please don't go away and rejoin us in a couple of minutes where we're going to carry on this conversation.